welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina show. It is a special show this week because we have had some new firefighter paramedics take place and join the City of Lancaster Fire Department. So I'm so excited that Captain Claymire was able to arrange and get us 3 first responders. So stick around so you can find out who they are and maybe why I actually have 3 on this week's episode of Down Home with Tina. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I not only have 1 first responder for my first responder of the month, I have 3 first responders of the month, and I'm so excited because the City of Lancaster Fire Department has recently hired on, I do believe it's a total of 4 female firefighters, but they actually have 5, which Ruth, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce Carley Goodchild, one of the newer firefighters, female firefighters, and we're so excited because it is, and I debated on, mentioning it, but I think it's fact, more of a dominated male career, like in firefighting and stuff. So it's really cool. I mean, and almost like, I'm surprised that we've got so many females interested in being a firefighter, and I think it's really awesome. So welcome to the show and share with me a little bit why you decided to become a firefighter.
Well, thank you for having us all this morning, afternoon, sorry. I actually got into it right after high school. I was kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do. My mom's a veterinarian, and I had always assumed I was going to be a veterinarian. I wasn't a bad student, but I was not getting into a vet school. So I met with a job coach that she knew. I took her out to lunch and we sat down and kind of hashed out, could you be a police officer or a social worker? Because I knew I wanted to help people. And we landed on paramedic. And after medic school, my buddies were going to fire school. I said, absolutely, let's go. And that was way fun. So I've just dove into it. I did a bunch of rescue classes with it, and I've gotten my associate's degree from it, and I've been at it now for about 8 years.
Oh my goodness, so it's 8 years. This is not your first fire department
then? No.
Oh, where'd you come from?
So I grew up in Pickerington, and my first fire job was in Perry County, out Thorne Township. And I've worked at a few other departments around Fairfield County since then, but Lancaster is the only one I work at now.
Yeah. So what has it been like so far in your career in the 8 years, and even the difference from when you first started to what it's like now as a paramedic?
I would say since I had gone from partial part-time and volunteer department to now a completely full-time department, just a lot of change in, we'll say, attitude, some professionalism, maybe a little bit. I've also gone through some personal changes in my career because I've had 2 children, and that is quite the feat to go through while in this career. Being pregnant while firefighting, and also being a nursing mom afterwards. So it's been a journey. So I've learned a lot along the way. I can't say I've met very many people that I would not want to meet again. Everybody in this field it's very brotherly, and it's a big family. So that is probably my favorite part of this career field, is that, all of us get along and all of us are there for each other. We all have each other's backs.
You said you did the volunteering part of it? And
I
at
was
the
never
very
a
beginning, you weren't
volunteer.
a volunteer.
I was at
Okay, you
a
were
department that
part-time.
was part-time and volunteers. That was coverage. So.
Okay, so you did part-time. Do you recommend, though, because you knew right out, those who might consider the career in this to volunteer to see if it is something for them? Because it sounds like you just knew right from the start.
Absolutely.
You're just kind of like,
I would,
hey,
if
you know
you
what?
wanted to test the waters, the volunteer cards are less hourly requirements when you go through the
Okay.
class. So, you can do those quicker classes and get on with a department and try it out. A lot of departments offer like riders and observers on
At
medics
different
and
departments,
stuff.
not
Yeah.
the City of Lancaster Fire Department, though.
Well, you could be a
guys
rider
just-
at Lancaster.
A
You just
writer,
gotta
yeah.
get-
You just aren't a volunteer, though.
Yes,
It's-
no, they
you
don't
guys
have
don't have those
volunteers.
opportunities. It's volunteer. A lot of the county, I can't say a lot of the county. Some of the county and the little smaller villages and such do, I believe, still have volunteer.
Oh, yeah.
Parts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that if you're out there and you've got a young one who says, hey, I'm interested, and they're able to and eligible to do that, then, because what is the eligibility to be a firefighter in Lancaster, a paramedic in Lancaster?
So to be hired right now, you have to be a firefighter with a 240 card and an EMT, which is your basic level EMT. And I'm paramedic right now, so I was hired in with that already, but our EMTs that get hired have to go through medic school, and when you talk to Bree later, she'll be able to explain a little bit more about that.
What has been the highlight so far of the 8 years of your career and what you've got to experience?
I was not prepared for that question.
Do you have one? I mean, or
I,
what do you enjoy the most, I guess, about being a paramedic and what you do? Is it the people, the patients, the people that you go out on the calls that you can interact with?
So since I'm one of the younger firefighters, I don't get as much time on the engine in my career. I haven't.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of runs on the medic, we'll say, and there's definitely runs that stick with you that you're like, I made a difference in that person's life for the better. Mm-hmm. And those kind of things do, give you the warm fuzzies, and they stick with you for a while, along with some of the negative runs. But the warm fuzzy runs usually outweigh those memories, and I think that's probably like the days where you get to fix an actual emergency that someone's happening that's a good day. It's a good feeling.
Is it easy to turn it off sometimes? Because it's no different than I think any kind of first responder. You see and you go through so much stuff, and then you go home to your babies. Is it just like you get used to doing that?
Yeah,
after
I
8
would say
years,
so.
probably.
I would say you get used to it. There's probably some things that maybe you hear or recognize that maybe trigger, like, oh, I remember hearing this on a run, but usually those things aren't something that sticks with you. You just kind of,
Go
yeah,
on.
okay, and then you move on.
That's what I was saying. The longer you do it, the more experienced you are. I don't want to say the easier it becomes in each situation.
I would say everyone's journey is a little different on that.
Yep. Yep, I agree. Anything else that you would like to say for any female that might be interested in becoming a firefighter, some of the challenges that you've seen or faced, or it doesn't sound like you had many. You've had 2 kids and you keep on trucking, and you still love
gosh, when I was pregnant with my second child, we had so many fires. I was like, I don't ever want to have this kid because she's good luck. We got all sorts of fires. I would honestly say it's probably the best job out there. Like, I couldn't think of a better job to have. And I've worked a few other career fields that were, fun, and I can have fun anywhere. But this job is like the time of my life. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Is it like not working? People say that when you have a job and it's not like it's work, you love it that much, that's the job for you.
Yeah, well, it's exactly. I go to work to go have, a break from my kids, and
Which you've got big kids, though. You're going out on to help.
Right. I get to hang out with my best friends, essentially. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Folks, don't go anywhere. I've got 2 more first responders, and before I do that, I've got a gift for you in here. And I won't give away what is in it yet because I've got to share it with 2 other people, and they're sitting in the room as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for what
Thank you
you
so
do,
much.
Carly. Thank you. Folks, I'll be right back. It's Down Here with Tina.
Bay Food Market is Fairfield County's source for high-quality, locally sourced meats. The meat case is always full of quality fresh beef, pork, gourmet burgers, and gourmet brats for you and your family to enjoy. Bay Food Market cures and smokes their own hams, bacon, and sausage. Visit Bay Food Market at the corner of Maple and Walnut Streets in Lancaster and discover the Bay Food Market difference. Open daily 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., closed Thursday and Sunday. Bay Food Market, proudly serving Fairfield County families for more than 90 years.
My name is Scott Duff, and I'm the director of the Fairfield County Overdose Response Team, and I'm here today to discuss Narcan. Narcan is the opioid overdose reversal medication. Narcan saves lives. We have saved countless lives in our community by providing Narcan to those with substance abuse disorders. We would very much like you to consider carrying Narcan on a regular basis. Narcan can be obtained easily in your community by reaching out to the Fairfield County Overdose Response Team at 740-901-1598.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Welcome back. It is my 3 first responders of the month from the City of Lancaster Fire Department. I have with me firefighter medic Moriah Wilson. Welcome to the show. So, will you please share with us why you decided to become a firefighter medic?
Well, I think if you ask any first responder, their typical answer is like, I just want to help people and change the world. Well, I think deep down, that's honestly what we all want to do. We make difference in people's worlds, and it gives us the warm fuzzies, as Carley said. But the story of how I got here, I was in nursing school, and that was me also wanting to help people. But I wasn't very good at school as well. I could not pass a certain test to get me into it. And that was at Hawking College, and I walked out, and at Hawking College they have a burn building because they also have the fire school there. And I walked out and I looked over and I saw it. I was like, I want to do that. So I went and talked to the lady advisor at the college. I said, I want to change. And she's like, perfect. That's like a complete 180, kind of. So I ended up getting my 240 card with them, and then jumping into my EMT and getting my medic card. And I didn't know this. My grandparents were actually volunteers for Bloom Township.
Nice.
And when I came to my grandma and said, I want to do this, she said, no.
Oh, she did?
She said, don't do it. Well, she ended up passing, and I did it anyway. So, sorry, Grandma. But it's cool because she was one of the first female medics in Bloom Township. So it's kind of cool that I as well am part of a bigger program with being one of the first women with this. So.
Absolutely. Well, and just to Grandma's defense too, and not that, I'm sure what it was she was a protector. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she didn't want you to maybe see some of the things that it takes to become, and what comes along with the job. Mm-hmm. As I had mentioned with Carley before, and then during the break, I had said to you all that I did go out on a run, and I didn't get to see. They wouldn't have let me see some things, of course, but I walked away from that experience, Moriah, that I got in my car that day and I cried. I just broke down. And it was because each of you as firefighter medics go out and you don't know what you're coming to. You maybe have an idea of what you are, but do you really have an idea? And so, you know what I mean? So that's where I just felt like all of that of what you guys do, and that's why it is something that is so important to me also to have first responders on, to share your stories, and I love that. So, but at the same time, it sounds like it was in your blood is what it was, and that's why you. So share a little bit, how many years have you been now?
I've been in for 3 years. I just started at Lancaster a little over a year and a half ago, and so that was my first full-time job. So before that, I also was at a part-time, full-time job, and around the Fairfield County area.
Okay.
And Lancaster is my first full-time job.
What do you think? What do you think about it? How's it been so far for you?
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
I think we all say that it's the best job in the world, but it honestly is, because 1, you get to help people. 2, you get to have a second family. And 3, you get to do fun stuff. Yeah. Which it sounds bad to say when we put out fires and break into cars. Like,
yeah,
that's fun to us. I know it's an emergency for other people, but at the end of it, we get to do it, we get to have fun, and we also get to help the people that we're there for.
Yeah, what would you like to say to anybody that might be interested in wanting this kind of career? Female, I guess, female. Guys, gals, doesn't matter.
There's gonna be obstacles. I mean, everyone has obstacles. I feel like for us women, there's a little bit of different obstacles, because that's what I think is nice about having both male and female, because whatever the male falls on, the women like raises, because us women have like sympathy, and we touch the hands and we talk to them, and the guys tend to just like get right to the point, and whatever we fall on, the guys tend to pick it up with strength and, you know, other things. So it's really beneficial, I think, to have both parties.
Wonderful. And with the city of Lancaster, what's it been like with the guys? It's crazy, because when I did that run a few years ago, some of them have moved and they're in different crews and things like that. I don't even know where they are right now. Or some of them have been promoted and things. So I remember their personalities. I loved it, I have to say, and I cannot think of his name. He was captain. He may have retired by now. He said to me, well, today we're brothers and sisters. Is that how you feel? And that's how I felt that day. And it was like, come on, Tina. It goes now. It doesn't wait on anybody. And I was like, okay, I'm on it. I was like, whatever I had, because that's what you guys do. That you get the call, you're out on the medic or the fire engine or whatever it is. You're gone. Yeah. So there's no waiting, because those people out there for that emergency cannot wait for you. So, anyways, what's it like? So, and that sisterhood, brotherhood.
It is that 100%. Typically, you know how brothers and sisters act. We'll pick on each other during the day and do a lot of pranks. That tends to happen. But that's typically at the end of the day when like all of our duties and stuff is like over with. But it is like I have your back, you have my back kind of relationship. And if you don't have that, it seems to get a little rough. And you have to have trust in this job, because if one of us in a situation, we have to trust that our person will get us out. So
it's a team. It seems. So how many are on a medic typically?
Typically 3. We do sometimes with our backup medic run 2, but they have to be both paramedics. Okay. But there's typically 2 medics and an EMT on a medic, so typically 3 people.
And then on the engine?
That's 3, sometimes 4 if we have extra, but it sometimes doesn't happen, but typically 3 too.
Anything else that you would like to share with folks today?
No, other than if you want to do this job, do it. It's fun.
Don't hold back. If it's in your heart and it's in your soul, just do it. Go for it. And these ladies are paving the way, helped pave the way. Ruth was first, and then you 3, and then there's a gal. So there's 5 now with the City of Lancaster Fire. I think it's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck in your career. And folks, don't go anywhere. It's Down Home with Tina, and I'll be back in a minute.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
I also want to make sure to let you know that my first responder of the month is brought to you by Bay Food Market. And I'm so excited because I have the City of Lancaster Fire Department, a few of the gals that have recently been hired on within the last year or so. And they're just going to share their stories, have been a little bit. And I have one that I'm excited. Her name is Brianna Blanchette, and apparently this is something she's wanted to do for what, since you were a little girl?
I did start as when I was a little girl. I knew I wanted to be in the medical field somewhere. You know, kind of the same thing. I was going to go to nursing school, decided being in hospital and going through that much schooling was not what I wanted to do. So actually I owe a huge thanks to my mom. She was the one that kind of pushed me to start becoming a volunteer. So I went to the township that I live in. They had a volunteer program. So I filled out an application, started doing ride time there. I fell in love with the EMS side of it. And that's what I did mostly as a volunteer. You know, I went on the medic runs with them, got to see how everything worked. They actually sent me to school, to EMT school, and then they pretty much said, well, if you want to be an EMT, got to go to fire school.
Okay.
So that's where I went to fire school. They sent me to fire school. It was amazing. I fell in love with fireside. It wasn't something that I expected to love at the beginning. You know, I knew that being in EMS was something that I wanted to do, but the whole running into a burning building was not something that I expected to fall in love with. So it was a great opportunity for me to be able to go through schooling through them.
Have you been on many fire calls at all in your career yet?
A handful, not a lot.
Wanted to ask you this. I hadn't thought of asking this. What is different from what you see in the movies, like in the shows of the fire shows of a fire scene? You know, is it really, really like dramatized in the television shows compared to what it is like from what your experience has been so far?
From my experience, yeah. I haven't
TV,
been
but yeah.
right, and the fires that I've been on have not been, thankfully, have not been anything like super serious.
Yeah,
we get it under control, get it handled very quickly. So I think to watch that on TV, it's very dramatic and kind of, I don't want to say it's blown way out of proportion, but to an extent.
Yeah, it's kind of like, so I mean, so you don't go just running in a fire.
No, we have like a whole list of things that we do. You know, whoever's in charge, whether it be our lieutenant or our captain, you know, they have a list of things that they do before we even make entry into a building.
You're mostly on medic though, right now?
Yeah, we have a rotation, so I get engine days, but a lot of it's EMS.
So how many years have you been in?
I got hired on part-time in January 2020 at Pleasant Township. So that's where I started my career. It's been a great opportunity for me to get on with the City of Lancaster. They just recently started hiring EMT basics full-time. So I was able to be one of those people who they hired as a basic. I actually start medic school on Monday. So they put you through medic school. They give you 3 years once you're hired to get your medic card and obtain your paramedic. So it's been a great opportunity for me to have this full-time job and for them to send me to medic school.
What has been maybe your most interesting experience so far with them? And do they treat you like a rookie when you come in? Are the guys rough with you? I know they teased me, but they also knew I was in media, so they were kind of nice to me. Kind of. Maybe they were being, and I was just kind of like, because I just took, it wasn't bad by any means at all. They're funny.
Oh, they're hilarious. And they tease everybody the same. It doesn't matter whether...
They wouldn't like you.
Yep, that's what they say.
Is that
what I've heard since I got in the fire service? If they're not picking on you, they probably don't like you.
Right, yeah. So what has been your most interesting, I think, fun interaction with maybe the public? Or biggest thing that you've learned so far?
You know, the interaction with the public is amazing. To go out there every day and help people and do what I love to do and see the results that we give to people, it's amazing. You know, I don't have a whole lot of experience. I haven't been doing this for 10 plus years. Yeah. So to have something that really sticks with me, I haven't accomplished that yet, but to be able to interact with the people every day is just, it's amazing.
It's a great place to start with the City of Lancaster Fire Department.
It's a great opportunity.
Just because, like I had said earlier, there are several of those men that have gone up since I did my run, and they deserved it. I was so excited when I had heard that they had done that, and some had been my first responders of the month as well. And so we are very blessed to have a forward-thinking also fire department here in Lancaster, because we have the FORT program and we have so many different things that other states are even replicating and following. And so we're blessed. I think we're very, very blessed. Yes. So what do you have to say to those little girls that are out there that are interested in possibly pursuing a career and being a firefighter, paramedic?
You know, it's a great opportunity. Like I've said, I wouldn't change my job for the world. You're gonna have obstacles. Just push forward. I mean, there's an end in sight to everything. So you just got to get through some of the hard stuff and just keep at it.
This field, this occupation is definitely growing when it comes to the females. So I really am glad to see that like Moriah had said, you know, what one doesn't do, you guys can pick up on the other end of it.
There's definitely a balance.
And it's a team. It's team effort. And to be open-minded to know that on both parts, both genders, female and male, that there is that balance of, you know, what it is that your strengths and weaknesses that you can, balance out and make it better, because it's only going to get better. It can, you know, I say get better. It is better. It's great. It's great at the City of Lancaster. So with that being said, I do have the gifts that I forgot to give Moriah's. Thankfully for my producer, handed it to her as we switched out, because he's the best. He always keeps me straight. My shout out to Josh. Thanks, Josh. But in our little gift bag that we have, I always love to give coffee mugs, because I always think that it's important that we have coffee or tea, which I always give tea. I call them coffee mugs, but I always give tea. And I wanted to point this out because it's called positive energy. Because on the Down Home with Tina show and anything that I try to do, it's got to be positive. And it's kind of spicy, it's good. And I love to give out my little treats of candy and also a card. So you'll all see this in your bags. What it is a card that I want you to forward on to somebody else. So it's a gift to you to pass on. And this one says, celebrate every little victory, something like that. It's just a positive way of sharing positivity. And a gift from Ava Jewelers. So the Ava Jewelers gift card in there for each of you to stop down there. It's a local little jewelry shop that is a pretty cool place. We work together on things, but there is your gift for you. So I hope you enjoy it. Folks, I just have a positive quote just to share with you is never, ever, ever stop believing in yourself and the things that you could accomplish. And sometimes we may have the blocks and the hard, you know, the stumbles in life, because it could be in any career, not just as it is with this career. And something that I'm going to share with you, I guess briefly here, is I had shared in previous shows that I had some interaction with a juvenile detention center, and somebody for myself who was there briefly as a teacher's aide in the classroom with those students. I don't like to use the word inmates because they were kids that were in jail. One of the things is I talk about positivity on my show and shared it with these ladies today, firefighter paramedics, is that even though they have made bad choices and they have broken the law, going into a room and being in a class 5 days a week for, in some cases, I had a couple of the classes, the same kids a couple times a day for an hour at a time, to instill that positivity in them. Keep doing it, love them through it, because they most definitely are kids, a lot of them, not all of them, that have had situations that they have been in their life that they have not had positivity. They have, their mindset is, some, again, not all, is that they have never had guidance to be told they did wrong. They have had folks in their lives, they've always said, well, it's not your fault, it's not your fault. So going into this classroom and teaching them positivity, and then that, why are you here? You made a choice, was tough. But I know also at the end of the day, I truly feel, and I couldn't do it. I had highlighted a Teacher of the Month who has done it for 6 years. And the reason why I was so proud of her is because she's done it for 6 years, day in and day out, Monday through Friday, going 11-month teacher, going in to talk to and be with kids that are troubled kids. So just keep believing in them, keep believing in yourself, and you know what? It'll just make the world a better place. It's Down Home with Tina. Thank you so much for watching this week. God bless and good day. Until next time.